Here in St. Louis, Paul, the Cardinals have a new coach and a different quarterback.
Well, they sure do. Larry Wilson is the new coach, and of course he took over for Bud Wilkinson, who was fired because he wouldn't take out Jim Hart. You're going to see Steve Pizarkowicz as a quarterback today, and I think the real problem is the players boycotted practice Wednesday. They didn't practice to show their disgust for Bud Wilkinson being fired. I don't know if this team can get together in a couple of days, and it's going to be a different atmosphere for them to try to win.
Of course, the 49ers are starting another quarterback, too.
Well, we've seen the 49ers 4 or 5 times, Lindsey. They can move the football. Their problem is they can't stop anybody. Montana at quarterback, the rookie out of Notre Dame. We're going to see how he can throw the football.
All right, let's take a look at the field. We're about ready. St. Louis Cardinals have won the toss. They have elected to receive. So Ray Wersching has teed it up, and the 49ers will be kicking off. There are the game officials assigned here by the NFL, led by the referee, Jerry Seaman. Ball goes downfield, goes out of bounds. They'll bring it back, tee it up at the 30-yard line with a 5-yard penalty enforced, and kick it off again. San Francisco 49ers with a record of 1 win and 12 losses, and the St. Louis Cardinals with a record of 3 wins and 10 losses. Larry Wilson in his first day as a head coach in the National Football League, and that is he right there. 20 years in the organization, a Hall of Famer, the man who popularized the safety blitz during his playing days in the National Football League as a safety for the Cardinals.
Well, he couldn't sleep, Lindsey. He woke up at 4:30 wondering if it was time to go to the ballpark. He's very nervous about this football game.
Willard Harrell is dropping back along with Roy Green to receive the kickoff for those St. Louis Cardinals. As Wersching tees it up now on the 30-yard line. A sunny, cold day here in St. Louis. Wersching puts it up again. Harrell takes it at the 18 to the 20 to the 25, and he does not ever get to the 30-yard line. Stopped at about the 28.
There was a fumble, Lindsey. I don't know if the whistle had blown. Let's pick it up. Also a flag.
Marker as well.
Got an injured 49er down about the 27-yard line. Or is it a Cardinal?
Cardinal, yeah, it's a Cardinal.
Here's the hit on the kickoff. Comes back off the right side, and you'll see some real good. Well, he slid into him, ran into his own man. We'll pick up the number in a minute. In any case, they're going to have to take a timeout here, injury timeout. Well, it's been a hectic week here in St. Louis. Boy, rumors been flying all over the place.
Let's take a look now at the personnel in the ballgame. There's the offensive line for the St. Louis Cardinals. There are the receivers, Gray, Tilley, and Osborne. Richard Osborne, the tight end, and Steve Pizarkowicz starts at quarterback. Wayne Morris and the sensational Otis Anderson.
Receiving team.
Clipping against the St. Louis Cardinals puts the ball back at the 14.
That's Willard Harrell walking off. He was the injured man on the return. Jim Ramey, 79, a rookie from Kentucky, was caught for clipping.
So now Pizarkowicz is up there at quarterback, starting in place of Jim Hart. Running backs are well split. Leave it on the ground this time. And it is taken by Anderson. Gets up to the 24-yard line.
Good example of why Otis Anderson ranks number 2 in the National Football League in rushing.
Behind only Earl Carroll of Houston. He has rushed for 1,297 yards, averaged almost 5 yards a carry, and has 5 touchdowns on the University of Miami, Florida. They're going to measure for the possible first down on the 1 carry for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Anderson only needs to average 52 yards rushing in the next 3 games, including this one, to best Earl Campbell's rookie record of 1,450 yards rushing.
Here's the front 4, and Dwayne Board starting in place of Hardman at right end today. There are the linebackers with Dan Bunt starting in the middle again. He's had neck trouble, as you know, probably. And there are the deep backs for the San Francisco 49ers. 1st and 10 for the Cardinals at their own 24-yard line. They shift into an I formation. And again, it is Anderson. Otis Anderson, OJ he is called. Gets it across to the 26-yard line. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals and the National Football League is prohibited. Gain of 2 on the last play makes it 2nd and 8. Pisarkiewicz brings him up. Played his high school football right here in St. Louis County. Was fine quarterback at the University of Missouri. Anderson again. I guess it's the old theory of if you have a cannon, fire it, as Anderson continues to carry the ball. Ted Benson came in to make the tackle at the 28-yard line.
Also a little help from Jeff McIntyre, number 52, the linebacker, Lindsey, and he's one of the few bright spots in that San Francisco 49er defense. He's a rookie from Arizona State, was an offensive back, still would like to play offense, but he's going to be a fine linebacker, 6'3", 232 pounds, and he can move.
McIntyre at one time on the Cardinal roster. It's 3rd down and 6 yards to go for the Cards as they loosen up. A wide receiver left, and that's Dave Stitt. Pisarkiewicz hit just as he turned it loose. Dwayne Board got to him, and that'll bring on the punting unit.
Recognized as the best defensive lineman in the 49ers. You're going to get a look at him right here, number 76, going against Brad Oaks. That's Dwayne Board, the rookie from North Carolina A&T, causes the incompletion.
Steve Little is back to do the punting now. He has averaged 39.8. Tony Dungy has dropped back with Dwight Hicks to receive the punt. Dungy to the left side and Hicks to the right side. Weatherman predicted that the high temperature here this afternoon would be in the somewhat high 30s. Steve Little, who was the #1 draft choice for the Cardinals. Fair catch signal goes up. Dungy makes the fair catch at the 38-yard line, where the 49ers start 1st and 10 in their own territory. Sun shining brightly here. This stadium located in the downtown section of St. Louis, Missouri, near the banks of the Big Muddy. That was a 35-yard punt. So when play is resumed, we have no score as yet early in the ballgame in the first quarter here in St. Louis, Missouri, with 12 minutes, 53 seconds left to play in the period.
Ford 79 countdown clearance is underway. Your Ford dealer is receiving allowances and additional cash incentives that he can pass on to you now when you buy selected new 79 Ford cars and trucks. It could add up to $400 on V8 Mustangs and pickups, $600 on LTD, over $1,000 on Heritage Thunderbirds. See your Ford dealer now. Ask him about the $400, $600, and $1,000 better ideas.
You survey where the land is wild and unforgiving, filling in empty places on maps that until now have been almost unknown. But now comes Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find, Miller High Life.
If you got the time, we've got the beer. Miller Beer.
Miller Beer.
Tonight on CBS, catch a brand new edition of 60 Minutes. And then at Archie Bunker's place, Man of the Year Archie's left holding the bag. There's more great comedy on One Day at a Time, followed by Alice and the Jeffersons, and Gonzo battles a Chicken Burger Tycoon on Trapper John MD. All tonight, right here on CBS. 1st and 10 for the 49ers at their own 38. Joe Montana in his first pro start. Handing it off to Paul Hofer. Hofer piling up to the 40-yard line, or near it. Here's the offensive line for the 49ers.
And it's a good offensive line. Lindsey, very young. Oldest guy is Keith Fawnhorse, and he's only a 6-year veteran.
And the wide receivers. Freddie Solomon, the leading receiver, of course. McAfee at tight end. Montana, Hofer, and Jackson. 2nd down play coming. Running backs in an eye. Jackson ahead of Hofer. Hofer has it, goes right this time, and moves it to the 43-yard line. Charlie Davis, nose guard from TCU, along with Mike Dawson, in to make the tackle. Here are the 3 down linemen, Pollard, Davis, and Dawson for the Cardinals.
Pollard, their best pass rusher.
4 linebackers. And they're starting Carl Allen ahead of Perry Smith over there on the left corner, along with Worley Green and Stone Deep. 3rd down, 5 yards to go. Montana throws and incomplete to Jackson. Wilbur Jackson coming out of the backfield. That will bring on the punting unit for the 49ers.
Would have been a first down, an easy first down. Montana on his first attempt had Jackson wide open in the right flat. And this is what you'll see all day long with the 49er offense. They'll nickel and dime you to death with that short passing game.
So the punting unit has come on. Dan Melville's in the kick. He has averaged 37.8. Willard Harrell and Roy Green have dropped back to receive the punt for the St. Louis Cardinals. Coached today by Larry Wilson.
Green and Harrell in for the Cardinals.
Wobble, but picked up. Melville gets it off. Fair catch signal goes up, and the fair catch is made by Harrell. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the St. Louis Cardinals. When players resume, they will start at their own 26-yard line. As yet, we have no score, and in the first quarter, we have 11 minutes, 29 seconds remaining.
It's the Delco Freedom Battery Sale. What do you want from a car battery, America?
Freedom to start in the cold. Thanks, Delco.
And you? Freedom from adding water. Thanks, Delco. Then come on to the Delco Freedom Battery Sale. AC Delco is making it possible for you to save on the powerful, never-add-water Delco Freedom Battery. At participating outlets where you see the Delco Freedom Battery Sale poster.
Thanks, Delco!
Hey, Les, what are you and Pam up to this afternoon?
Oh, we're just sitting around by the pool.
Jessica, darling, I just saw the most
Later on, why don't you guys come over?
When the people in Long Beach, California make phone calls, their voices are frequently transmitted by the world's first fiber optic telephone system providing regular service to the public. It consists of hair-thin fibers like this one, and the fibers now being installed can actually carry over 600 voices at once.
Gee.
No, GTE.
Tonight at 8, 7 Central.
My high school class is naming me Man of the Year.
And the Old Flames return to Archie Bunker's place.
How's Edith?
The St. Louis Cardinals have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 26-yard line as Steve Pisarkowicz brings them up, third-year man from Missouri. Came to this game with a completion average of 56.1, but that was 23 for 41. Jim Hart, of course, the #1 quarterback. And Anderson carries again. Across the 30, 35. Otis Anderson, OJ, across to the 36-yard line before Tim Gray forced him out.
Over 1,300 yards rushing for the rookie out of Miami. He's going to be a great one. Look at this. The Bears, 2 touchdowns, one by Walter Payton, one a touchdown pass by Mike Phipps. 14-0 over Tampa Bay second quarter. Could pull be within one game of the Bucs if they can win. Philadelphia, Ron Jaworski, 2 touchdown passes to Harold Carmichael, blanking Detroit second quarter.
Second down and less than a yard to go for the Cardinals at their 36-yard line. Wayne Morris, the other back besides Anderson. Pisarkowicz sets and throws. And it is incomplete. Incomplete as the hit was made immediately on Mel Gray. So it is an incompleted pass.
Well, it was a great hit. It was just a little hook pattern. Mel Gray, who has a habit of having good days against the 49ers here, gets it in his hands. 29, that's Gerard Williams, really a good pop, causing the incompletion. Packers 14, Washington 7. Theismann's got 1 touchdown pass. They jumped out 7-0, but the Packers are fighting back.
Bill Morrell has gone in at tight end now.
Dave Jacobs, 2 touchdowns for the Jets, 13-3 over Baltimore.
Full house backfield as they go for short yardage. Cardinals do this sort of thing, run the full house, try to pick up the first down. And I think they got it. They'll stack them and unstack them and spot the ball. Otis Brown carried the ball.
Pittsburgh. Lynn Swan has scored once. Harris has scored once. 24-10 over the Bengals second quarter. Denver early second quarter lead over Buffalo 3-0.
You're going to bring out the chain and measure for the possible first down.
You'll see a lot of that, folks. Full house backfield on short yardage. The Cardinals love it. And usually they like to give it to that young man, Theodis Brown. He gets the first down. He's the fullback in that 3-back setup.
At UCLA, James Owens of the 49ers and Theodis Brown of the Cardinals were roommates. 1st and 10 now at the 36.5-yard line. No score in the first quarter here at Bush Memorial Stadium in St. Louis.
second best rushing team in the NFC. They've been averaging 158 yards rushing a game.
Mel Gray and Pat Tilley, a double to the right side. Tilley's in the slot right. It's Anderson again. Finds places to run and moves it up to the 44-yard line. Archie Reese in on the tackle.
Good little move about 5 yards back. Starts off slow. He's got the good explosion, Lindsey, at the hole. There's Anderson's record on the year coming in.
He's listed at 210 pounds, 6 feet 2 inches tall.
Made a good move by the linebacker. Already has 30 yards rushing, 5 attempts.
He's going to have all sorts of records during his career. Fumble! Whistles blowing. When did the first one blow? Wayne Morris had the ball. Saraceno made the hit. First one blew before the ball got away, so it is
going to be a little bit short. Let's watch a middle linebacker, Danny Bunce here, number 57, along with Archie Reese, number 78. There's Bunce with the hit right there with help from Reese. The ball's free. The whistle had blown. I think it was a fumble.
Third down and a long yard. It's about 1.5 yards to go.
Oh, they blow those quick whistles. Woo.
Anderson looking for a place. Got the first down, and he goes out of bounds. First and 10 for the 49ers at the 48-yard line. Dan Bunce ran him out. Dan Bunce playing the middle linebacker, in place of Saraceno.
Watch how easy O.J. glides around the outside. O.J. Anderson, that is, for the first down.
O.J. Anderson, number 32. O.J. Simpson, number 32 of the 49ers, has not been in action yet today.
Well, we'll probably see him on a few sweeps. Bill Walsh usually elects to put in O.J., give him a few sweep calls. He doesn't play much.
Mel Gray is the man in motion. Anderson's got the ball. And he moves to the 47-yard line of the 49ers for 5 to make it 2nd and 5. Gerard Williams coming in to cut him down. Clock is running with 9 minutes left to play in the first quarter.
You know, it's tough for a team like the Cardinals. They've got a new coach, 3 games to go, and as we said, there's a second quarter score. Lynn Dickey started today for the Packers, thrown 2 touchdown passes on that one. I'll get back to the mental aspect for the Cardinals with the new coach.
Anderson. Not this time, because Archie Reese is hanging on. Second-year man from Clemson.
We'll bring up 3rd and about 6, Lindsey, but getting back to the Cardinals' problem, you know, they boycotted practice Wednesday in the dispute over firing of Bud Wilkinson, and, you know, it's really tough. Now, they like their new coach, Larry Wilson. He's been in the Cardinal organization for 20 years, but it's very tough on a team, I think, to go through the remainder of the season under this kind of, it's not pressure, so to speak. It may be pressure on the quarterback now, but the team is just out there. They're, you know, it's kind of a floundering situation. They just want to get the season over with.
Larry Wilson, of course, had been the director of pro personnel for the Cardinals. He was not on the coaching staff as such. Sarkowitz, it's snowed under. Could not get rid of it.
Jeff McIntyre, number 52, blitzing from his left linebacker position. There he is, the rookie from Arizona State.
So that brings up a 4th down, brings on the punting unit. Steve Little is in to do the kicking. Dungy drops back with Dwight Hicks to field it for the 49ers.
There it is again. Look at the pressure. There's 52 on the blitz.
Little waiting for the snap. Dwight Hicks moves up. Fields it at the 18. He's at the 20. Hicks is at the 25. 30. Final move. 35, 40. And there's a penalty marker thrown as he gets to the 40-yard line of the Cardinals. Dwight Hicks is at the 20. He's at the 15. And he is out of bounds at the 5-yard line, but there's a marker back downfield. And one has the feeling always, bring it back, on this sort of a thing, that There has been a clip somewhere.
Well, you can't block below the waist on any kickoffs or punt returns. That's the new rule put in by the National Football League. A beautiful return by Dwight Hicks, the longest of the year for the 49ers, is going to get called back. I don't think he has his mic open.
Well, we might get it after he steps it off.
All right. This is the kind of thing that's been happening to the 49ers all year long.
Hasn't it, though?
Bill Walsh, I guess he's just on the sidelines. Is it ever going to stop? 78-yard punt return called back.
Personal foul, clipping, number 72, receiving team.
That's Reuben Vaughn, Lindsay. Here it is. Let's see if we can pick it up. Here's Hicks. Now he makes a very good move back to the middle, right in the seam. And up, we can't pick it up, but Dwight Hicks goes down the sideline, 78 yards. A beautiful punt return is going to be called back. We'll be back.
This is John Kruger. He owns a small drugstore in Claremont, New Hampshire, and he bought an IBM computer to help him run it.
Today, with the price of computers coming down the way it has, even a small business like mine can afford one.
John Kruger's IBM computer automatically prints out prescription labels and receipts. It even produces a year-end record of money spent on medication by each customer, and it keeps track of all his inventory.
I found another way to use the computer. As a volunteer fireman, I'm developing a handbook that lists emergency information on every house in town, like the nearest source of water, whether there are kids or old folks living at home, things like that. We've had some practice runs, and we think it's going to save us a lot of time. If you think I'm pleased with the computer, you want to talk to my wife. For the first time in years, I've been getting home before the dinner's cold.
IBM, helping put information to work for people.
Bill Walsh, in his first year as head coach of the 49ers, shading his eyes from the bright sunshine. 1st and 10 for his 49ers at the 20. Hofer and Jackson are the backs, and McAfee's in motion across. Hofer carried, and he got it up to the 25-yard line. Picked up 5 on the play to make it 2nd and 5.
Paul Hofer, the fine 4-year running back out of Mississippi. Great pair of hands. He's also caught 43 passes.
Hofer came into the game having rushed for 482, an average of 5.4 per carry and 6 touchdowns.
That's the second best average in the National Football League, 5.4.
2nd down, 5 yards to go for the 49ers. James Owens in motion to the outside, comes set right. Double wing alignment as Montana retreats. Well, he was trying to get to Owens, who had made a slip on the cut.
That's what they need. There he goes. Number 1 draft choice for the 49ers last year. I talked to Bill Walsh yesterday, and he said, Paul, if we could just get a deep threat. Now, Freddie Solomon's having a great year for the 49ers. Caught 56 passes to rank 3rd in the NFC. But they need a deep threat, a guy like Isaac Curtis. So they said maybe Owens could be it in the next couple of years. He's got great speed, only a rookie. But they need somebody who they could go to deeper pass patterns. Right now, they have a controlled offense passing, just nickel and diming.
3rd and 5. Montana with the ball. Brings it out to Jackson in the left flat. Safety valve out there, and it's incomplete. It'll be 4th and 5, and the punting unit comes on for the 49ers.
The timing's not as good for Joe Montana as it has been for Steve DeBerg. It's very evident so far. And this is his first game. Montana holding on to the football a little bit longer. Most of your 49er patterns will go much quicker than that. They'll throw them a lot quicker.
49ers sideline. Dan Melville is on the field to do the punting, and Willard Harrell is dropped back with Roy Green to field it for the St. Louis Cardinals. Melville gets the snap. Penalty marker. Green has it at the 42. There is no corner to turn, and he goes out of bounds at the 45.
Probably go against the 49ers. They might have released a little bit too quick. before the punt.
Only the outside men can go down before the punt. Illegal motion is the call against the 49ers. That's the 5-yard penalty.
Not that good a punt. They got very good field position as it is. They'll probably decline it.
They're going to decline it and take the ball.
Illegal motion. Offense, number 22, decline.
Dwight Hicks, number 22, legal motion.
So when play is resumed, the Cardinals will have the ball 1st and 10. They'll have it at their own 45-yard line, and still there is no score.
If a man's slacks fit him too close for comfort, if he just can't stand to sit, then he needs Levi's Action Slacks, perhaps the most comfortable slacks a man can wear. The waistband and fabric stretch to give you more room when you need it.
Comfortable? Comfortable. I could sit through a double feature now.
Levi's Action Slacks from Levi's Sportswear, where quality never goes out of style.
Usually people don't change insurance companies to save money. They change because of service. That's why State Farm agents work so hard to be good neighbors. When people have a question, I try to get the answer right away. It's the same with the claim. I make sure it starts out right, so it'll be handled right, fast and fair. We don't lose many policyholders.
For your life, your health, your home, and your car, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular, come to the slopes of Val d'Isère, France for highlights of World Cup skiing and more.
On the CBS Sports Spectacular on Saturday, World Cup skiing, 9-ball pool championship, and cruiserweight championship boxing. Anderson has carried the ball for the Cardinals 8 times for 37 yards. They have the ball at their own 45. Tilly moves over, tightens up a little bit. Pisarkowitz has the ball. Up the middle and deflected and incomplete. Intended for Dave Steve, number 84. McIntyre deflected it. It'll be 2nd and 10 at the 45-yard line.
A little surprise there, McIntyre. Both the teams, the linebacker core for both these teams, very unusual, Lindsay. This is the 14th game of the season. There's not one interception by any of the linebacker core on the field today.
They have sent Tilly out to a wide left. Pisarkowitz, who was a number 1 draft choice for the Cardinals, hands it off to Anderson, and Anderson gets a yard or so, and that's it. McIntyre again on the tackle for the 49ers. It's at the 47-yard line where it'll be 3rd and 8. 49ers came into St. Louis on Friday night. Will be returning, of course, to San Francisco immediately following the conclusion of this game here this afternoon. Mel Gray has come to a wide left, and they've got Tilly on the slot left. Tighten him up a little bit. Pisarkowitz steps up. Got a yard.
Good quickness there by number 79, Dwayne Boer, on the sack. They'll probably give him a sack on that one. Pisarkowitz.
Make it Al Cowlings, actually, the 79.
79, right. Al Cowlings. Excuse me, Lindsay. They got Cedric Hardman in, putting pressure on from the right side over here. The tackle pushes him by. Pisarkowitz steps up, and you'll see Al Cowlings on the sack.
So that brings up a 4th down, and Steve Little comes in to do the punting. And again, it's Tony Dungy back with Dwight Hicks to field it for the 49ers. Hicks, 25, 30. Stopped at the 31-yard line. Cardinals had Richard Osborne downfield to make the tackle. CBS Sports Spectacular coming up on next Saturday at 4:30 p.m. here on CBS, including World Cup skiing. Same-day coverage of the opening World Cup skiing event in Val d'Isère, France. Ingemar Stenman of Sweden and Phil Marr of the U.S. and more. And 9-ball pool championship. That's on the CBS Sports Spec next Saturday. First and 10. Hofer at the 34-yard line. Picked up 3 to make it 2nd and 7. That was a 30-yard punt, by the way. Mark Arneson in to make the tackle for the Cardinals, along with Mike Dawson.
Well, the Cardinals will use the 3-4 defense, 4 quick linebackers, Bearfield, Allerman, Williams, and Arneson. And the 49er offense, so far as we've seen them all year long, really like to go to this guy, especially in passing situations. He's got a good pair of hands.
Bobby Farrell's in there at the other back. Hofer and Farrell are the setbacks. Farrell, a former UCLA'er. And he got the ball and moved it up to the 38-yard line. Farrell got 4. It'll be 3rd and 3. Farrell, a 213-pounder.
Well, the 49ers, even though with their record of 1-12, ranked number 2 in the NFC throwing the football, Lindsay. And today, seems as if here in the first quarter, they're trying to run the football a lot more than we've seen in the past. So maybe they're trying to go against that 3-4 defense, or maybe they don't want to put it up too much, and because of this young man, Montana, they want to let him in there and get his head clear.
Montana. It is incomplete. Bob Brewer was his intended receiver, the tight end.
Too many red shirts there.
Weren't they, though?
Montana just holding on a little bit too long. He looks like he's having a tough time getting the feel of it out there, Lindsay. He threw the ball there to a guy who was completely covered. It's 0 for 4 so far.
Bill Walsh had said earlier in the year that he would definitely start Montana at some game just to get him, let him have a little experience in the National Football League, and also to see how he performs without the great pressure of knowing that he had to perform extremely well. Dan Melville in deep punt formation. Green and Harrell have dropped back for the Cardinals. Harrell at the 28. He's at the 30. Willard Harrell dropped at the 32-yard line.
Well, you see a lot of gloves out there. They're not actually golf gloves. They're racquetball gloves. They're a little bit heavier, and the players feel that they can get a much better feel with a little bit thicker glove than a golf glove.
Coming up tonight at 7 Eastern Time on CBS, 60 Minutes. When a black school teacher running for local office is charged with kidnapping on the eve of the election, and even the alleged victim says he didn't do it, was it a frame-up? Watch 60 Minutes tonight on CBS.
Is that not the best show on TV or not?
It's a good one. 1st and 10 now at the 32-yard line for the St. Louis Cardinals. 3 minutes, 3 seconds left in the first quarter.
Going to 3 wide receivers right away.
Now the draw, and Anderson's carrying it. Gets over to the 35-yard line. He picked up 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7 yards to go.
Well, he had Big Bob Young, the veteran, 14-year veteran left guard out in front. There's O.J.
Speaking of gloves and things, you see, I want to talk to you about that coat we saw on you at the top of this telecast. Paul, where'd you shoot that?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I found this in Chicago.
Is there a bounty on that sort of
Yes,
thing?
there is.
I see. 2nd and 7. They're in a slot right. Tilley, the slot back, tightens up. Well, that's motion if I ever saw it by Anderson.
He'll go
If
out.
you're going to go in motion, go in motion. And did he ever?
Little trap up the middle. Anderson starting way ahead of the count.
It'll cost him 5.
I've heard of being anxious, but this is ridiculous, right? There's a little trap block. You see Bob Young there going to trap the defensive end on the right side.
I did a season of Canadian football once years ago with Jim Crowley, one of the 4 horsemen at Notre Dame, and we discovered on first day there was no penalty against being in motion toward the line of scrimmage. Crowley jumped about 3 feet and said they would never have brought Nagurski.
Illegal motion, number 32, offense.
Against O.J.
O.J. Said they never would have brought Nagurski down because if he ever got started toward the line of scrimmage, that was it. 2nd down and 12 yards to go at the 30. Across the 30. Split the running backs. Tilley in motion across. Pasarkowitz. Stieff incomplete. Dave Stieff.
Well, there's a case of Dave Stieff, who hooked up in the open zone. Pasarkowitz looked back, and he must have been a secondary receiver, but he didn't move at all, Lindsay. did move to the open spot, just stood there.
Third down play coming now, 3rd and long, about 11 and a half for the Cardinals. Kansas City 14, Seattle nothing in the first quarter. Mel Gray comes far to the left side. He's caught at least one pass in 86 consecutive games for the Cardinals. Tighten up Tilley, slot back left. Well, it is a diving, attempted an interception. It is an incompletion.
Well, it was intended for Pat Tilley. He was open for a moment, and then good reaction by the secondary and the linebackers of the 49ers caused the incompletion. There is a flag down.
So there's one to be checked out here.
Watch Tilley here. Right there, pass was there, could have been caught, but he was hit just as the ball got there. Now they'll decline and bring up fourth down.
Good use of hands, right tackle, offense, decline.
Well, the right tackle is Joe Bostic, the rookie from Clemson.
That will bring up a 4th down and bring the punter in. So Steve Little is in to kick, and once again, it's Wright Hicks dropping back there, along with Tony Dungy.
Both these teams having trouble moving the football with their new quarterbacks.
Right there you go. We're getting a lot of work from the kickers.
Beauty.
Hicks is retreating. Hicks muffs the ball. Picks it up and retreats to the 6-yard line. Wright Hicks muffed it. 49ers start first and 10 at their 7-yard line.
Well, right there, you see the shade of the stadium. The sun could be right in his eyes right there. Should have had it. 63-yard punt. Little gets credit for it. Hicks gets the football back, and the 49ers are deep in their own territory.
We have 1 minute 54 seconds left in the first quarter. There is no score. Joe Montana is quarterbacking the 49ers in his first NFL start. An alumnus of Notre Dame. Taken by Farrell. Bobby Farrell.
And another look at Bobby Farrell. There's Larry Wilson on the sidelines, who will be the coach for the next 3 weeks. I asked him, would he like to become the head coach next year? And he said, Paul, I'm going to play the next 3 weeks and go back into the front office. I don't know what I'd like to do. He said, but I know one thing, that next 3 weeks are going to be fun for me.
2nd down and 3 yards to go. Farrell and Hofer, the setbacks for Montana. Farrell again.
Same play.
And he's got the first down with this one. Mike Dawson coming in to make the tackle.
49ers first down of the day. And they've been moving the football all year long. In fact, offensively, the 3rd in total offense in the NFC, having won only one ball game. They averaged close to 350 yards a game.
First down play coming down. Shift into the eye. Montana brings it out in the right flat. But there's a gain of at most a yard. Bearfield and Allerman coming to make the tackle on Farrell. Second down.
9 yards to go.
12 seconds left in the quarter, and now 10 seconds remain. 2nd and 9.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll get things started here in the second quarter.
Well, there's the gun. So that's the end of the first quarter here at Bush Memorial Stadium in St. Louis. With the score, the Cardinals nothing, and the 49ers nothing.
Thunderbird. Thunderbird. Spread your wings in the new 1980 Thunderbird. Introducing a Thunderbird of new contemporary size that shows its elegant heritage wherever you look. Outside, inside.
Yet it's remarkably priced, and that includes automatic transmission, power steering, power brakes, vinyl roof, and more. The new size Thunderbird, a better idea for the 80s.
Sometimes when you're really loaded down, opening your umbrella can be a problem. But not with Totes one-hand automatic. Just push the button, Totes opens automatically, just like that. Look again. Push the button, it's open. And it's big enough to shelter two. Beautiful designer colors and prints. Totes is windproof, built to last, and it folds fast, small enough to fit in your handbag.
The Totes one-hand, push-button automatic. A great gift.
RCA wants you to see the right color. Sunrise over the Grand Canyon. Does your television capture the color in all its intensity, in all its subtlety? Does it automatically show you the right shades of color? If not, wait till you see ColorTrack 1980. ColorTrack 1980, with 8 automatic color systems designed to lock even subtle shades of color on track. RCA is making television better and better.
We have 2 young quarterbacks starting here today, and in the first quarter, Pisarkowicz was 0 for 5. Montana was 1 for 5 for 1 yard. We start the second quarter. There is no score. I'm Lindsey Nelson with Paul Horning in St. Louis. 2nd and 9, the ball at the 21-yard line for the 49ers. Montana bootlegged the ball. He still got it. Throws back across, trying to hit again Bob Brewer, but it's incomplete to make it 3rd and 9 at the 21.
Kurt Alleman was the linebacker over there. I think if Montana would have made up his mind a little bit sooner, he could have ran the football and almost picked up the first down.
Penalty marker being reported. Ineligible receiver downfield is the signal against the 49ers.
Talking to Mike Dawson, their defensive right end. The Cardinal team lost 5 games this year by 4 points or less. So they've been a little bit disgusted with close football games.
Now it's marked off against the 49ers. A 10-yard penalty puts the ball at the 11-yard line.
Ineligible downfield, number 67, offense.
That's
Ron Singleton.
That's Ron Singleton, the left tackle, Lindsey, on the bootleg to the right side. He's the left tackle. He should not have been downfield at all. No excuse for that.
2nd and 19. On the penalty down, 2nd and 19 at the 11-yard line. And dropping back is Montana at the 2-yard line. Well, he still got it. Montana's going to run it. And he got it up near the 19. Picked up about 8 yards on the play.
Bill Walsh's attack throwing the football is well respected in the National Football League. He says the more I watch films, the more I see our plays. It's an injury, maybe a timeout down on the field. But it's a rhythm type of an offense. They drop back 5 yards and throw on rhythm, and then the deeper passes, they go back about 7 or 8 yards, and it looks as if Montana, of course, this is his first start, having problem adjusting to that.
John Bearfield shaken up, and so we have an injury timeout taken by the officials here, as we have 14:38 left in the half, and there is no score.
When the only sound is the frozen silence of winter, you go to work. Clearing a long, thin slice of track through a land where nothing moves except you. And when you've finally thrown the last mountain of snow back into the sky, you can head for home and Miller time. Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life. America's quality beer since 1855.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller tastes too good to hurry through. When it's time to relax, we've got the beer. Miller beer. Miller beer.
Joe Montana, the quarterback of the 49ers, faced with a 3rd and 12 here at the 19-yard line. Hofer and Phil Francis are his setbacks. Wilbur Jackson was in the ballgame at the start, but went out, and it was Bobby Farrell. Now it's Bill Francis. Montana. Complete. Taken this time by Bob Brewer, number 82. Montana had thrown to him a couple of times unsuccessfully earlier. Mark Arneson made the tackle. Not enough for the first down, and the punting unit comes on.
Poor selection, Lindsey, going to your tight end on a 3 or 4 yard gain. You got to go downfield, especially 3rd and long. Got to go to one of your deep receivers.
Melville's in to punt. Willard Harrell has dropped back with Roy Green to field it for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Short.
Harrell at the 48-yard line, at the 50. Willard Harrell pinned at the 48-yard line of the 49ers. Dwight Clark downfield to make the tackle. So it is 1st and 10 for the Cardinals, and they have the ball in 49ers territory.
For those parents who realize that $500 isn't too much to spend to expand their child's world, Radio Shack has the perfect gift. The TRS-80 computer, the most significant investment a parent can make. Programs for your child's education or your business, finance, and home use. Let your children discover tomorrow's technology today. The TRS-80, the biggest name in little computers. Only at Radio Shack, a Tandy company.
Yo! Oh, excuse me.
Oh, excuse me. He's not too bad, except for those stale clothes. Wonder how he'd look in something fresh like pleated Hager slacks. Or a wool Hager sport coat and slacks. Even a Hager vested suit.
Cantaloupe?
No, let's have a church wedding.
Hager, because looking good makes you feel good.
Boy, this is the express line.
Next Saturday and Sunday at 3:30 Eastern, it's the exciting Mixed Team Golf Championship with top female and male pros competing.
And thank you. It's nice to be here in St. Louis this afternoon for this game between the 49ers and the St. Louis Cardinals. On the last punt, the 49ers were guilty of a violation of the kick coverage rule, but it was declined by the Cardinals, who want the ball. 1st and 10 at the 49ers 48-yard line. Theodis Brown is in that backfield now, and the fullback slot in the I formation. To Sarkowitz. To Tilley, incomplete.
Good coverage by Dwight Hicks on the left corner. Folks, sometimes it's tough for us doing a game like this as it is sitting at home watching. But both these teams have much better offenses than they've displayed so far. Here's Tilley doing the corner, not too good a pattern, covered easily by Hicks.
If you talk to the followers of each of these teams, they'll tell you about the many mistakes made by their team during the course of the season, which is the reason that the 49ers have won only one game and the Cardinals have won only 3. It's been truthfully said, football is a game of mistakes, and the team that makes the fewest number wins.
Here comes the reverse.
The reverse play. Mel Gray, he's a speedster. That's a world of speed. You saw Gerard Williams take one shot at him, and penalty markers thrown up on the sideline.
They picked up about 14 yards on the reverse. Opened it up a little bit. Clipping.
Another one of those mistakes we were talking about.
Here it is. Here's a quick pitch to O.J. Anderson. Of course, a great play with Anderson because everybody keys on him. Here comes Mel Gray back to the left side. Gray's going to pick up 14 yards. Let's see if we can pick up the clipping. 29, Gerard Williams. Well, I didn't see it. Let's let him tell us
Personal
about it.
foul, clipping, number 54.
54 is the center, Tom Banks.
Ball is at the 50-yard line, so it's going to be 2nd down. The penalty down does not count. A total loss of 2 yards on the play makes it 2nd and 12. Theodis Brown in the left set. And that's Anderson. Little running room, 40. tight roping down the sideline and goes out of bounds, forced out by Tim Gray, himself a one-time #1 draft choice of the St. Louis Cardinals. It's at the 34-yard line, 1st and 10.
Good size and a good move. Watch a good feed of Otis Anderson, 6'2", 212 pounds. Right here, he cuts back inside. A great block by Terry Steve, the right guard. And then he turns on a little bit of speed, trying to get a standoff block out there was Dave Steep. Tim Gray pushed him out.
1st and 10 now for the Cardinals as they mount their most serious spread of the ball game with 13 minutes, 8 seconds left to play in the first half. Gain of 17 yards on that play. It's Anderson again. Got across the 30 and to the 28-yard line.
Also another good example of strength right here, Lindsey. He was hit by a couple of guys and just lunged forward, picked up about 5. It looked like he was going to be stopped maybe for 1 or 2 yards, got an extra 3. Joe Theismann has thrown a touchdown pass to cut the lead to 7. Lynn Dickey getting a start for Green Bay has thrown 2 touchdown passes. Theismann has thrown 2. And Cincinnati fighting back in the third quarter against Pittsburgh, trails by 7.
2nd and 5 here. Skidding halt for Anderson.
Not this time.
And an even more skidding halt as he is going to be marked at the 35-yard line. Archie Reese got to him along with Jimmy Webb.
Well, he slipped a little bit. Execution poor, and he lost a few. He had 65 yards on 12 carries before that.
Now it's going to be 3rd and 12 with the ball at the 35-yard line.
He's averaging just a shade under 100 yards a game. He's had 7 games where he's rushed for over 100 yards. Longest run of the season, 76 yards from scrimmage in the whole National Football League. So this is a really exciting rookie.
The Otis Brown's the other running back there. Sarkowitz. Tilley. Tilley made the catch, was hit immediately, but held on to the football. It was Charles Cornelius who made the hit.
I tell you, Tilley's been hit 2 or 3 times going over the middle. That time, 28 Charles Cornelius popped him. Way short. Here he is again, just running a little pattern. First he gets hit by the linebacker, and then Cornelius.
Brings up a 4th and 8 for the St. Louis Cardinals, and Little is going into punt formation.
Maybe. He's thrown the ball 3 times out of punt formation, and the Blues come up here in St. Louis.
There is no score in the game. Field goal from there would be about a 48-yarder if they chose it.
The way the 49ers are going. Yeah, here it comes. He started to throw it.
Didn't he, though? It will be marked deep in 49er territory, and the San Franciscans will start 1st and 10 at their own 9-yard line.
On the 31-yard line, I don't know if I would agree with this. 3 and 10 on the year. He was trying to throw it, punted it out of bounds.
In just 3 years, audio buffs have made Pioneer speakers America's best-selling. Pioneer is also the leader in cassette decks. Over the years, our amps and tuners have received critical acclaim, as have our turntables. So, if you want a hi-fi system that's matched as carefully as it's engineered, get a component ensemble from Pioneer, because a component ensemble is only as good as the components ensembled. Pioneer, we bring it back alive.
Good. Now we can go to bed.
Wait a minute. I want to give you your gift while we're alone. It's something just for you.
A washer and dryer.
Now, come on, will you be serious?
Okay.
All right, close your eyes. Merry Christmas.
Give her a diamond. It's forever.
The Cardinals sideline following Steve Little's 23-yard squib kick. The 49ers have the ball 1st and 10 at their 9-yard line. There is Larry Wilson coaching.
And that might be a tip-off into thinking of Larry Wilson. He's been a defensive player all his life, one of the great safeties of all time in professional football. You got the ball on the 31-yard line, no score, 3 and 10 on the year. Why punt it? But maybe he's thinking defensively.
Montana's 2 for 6, a total of 4 yards in the air. Wilbur Jackson's back in the ball game. Taken by Hofer. Lunged across the 10 to about the 11-yard line. Charlie Davis and Mark Arneson made the Cardinal tackle. Second down and 8 yards to go. No score in this game as yet. McAfee split out to the left side. Hofer lost a yard. Back to the 10. Ken Green made the Cardinal tackle. It'll be 3rd and 9. Artificial turf here, of course, at Bush Memorial Stadium in St. Louis.
Well, Lindsay, 19 teams still available for the playoffs as they started play today. Denver's getting beat. Tampa Bay's getting beat. Philadelphia looks like they're going to be the first to clinch. They've got about a 21-point lead. If they win today, they at least clinch a wild card berth.
James Owens has come in now in that backfield. That is Owens in motion outside right for Montana. Montana going to Owens, and James Owens cannot get it, and it is incomplete. Covering was Ken Green, 37, who almost intercepted. That brings on the 49ers punting unit.
There's Ken Green. She's shaken up a little bit on the play. 2 interceptions on the year. Ken Green's got him covered, turns his back, and the ball just hangs up, makes a good move to the football. Incomplete, almost intercepted.
An injury delay here. It's Ken Green who made that move. Hobbling as he comes over toward the sideline. Now breaks into a jog.
Yeah, maybe it's better off that he didn't intercept it. They got Melville punting. He'll be in his own end zone. He's only averaged 35 yards a punt so far.
Cardinals driving back only one man. That's Harrell, which means they're going to have 10 men up there at the line of scrimmage. Put a little pressure on Dan Melville, kicking his own end zone for the 49ers.
And they're going to rush the punt, I think.
Rushing 10. Gets it off Harrell at the 41-yard line. Turned and went down. So that is where the St. Louis Cardinals start 1st and 10. Bob Farrow was downfield to make the tackle. Play is resumed. It'll be at the 42-yard line. There is no score in this ball game in St. Louis, Missouri.
Here's two good friends.
Merry Christmas.
Tonight is kind of special.
Guys, where do you think you're going? Merry Christmas.
The beer will pour. Must say something more somehow. So tonight,
Well, it's been a good meeting. Sure.
I got
that is
it.
Here's to good friends.
Good friends.
Can a 1980 Ford LTD priced about $7,300 ride as quietly as a $65,000 Rolls-Royce? Both were tested under identical conditions, over smooth roads, over rough roads, at 20, 40, and 55 miles per hour. And the LTD rode just as quietly as the Rolls-Royce. Incredible? Not for LTD, because LTD is so solidly built, so well engineered. Ford LTD, as quiet as a Rolls-Royce.
Next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular, it's highlights of World Cup skiing, plus highlights of the 9-ball pool championship, and a report from Yugoslavia on the Monty Parloff and Marvin Campbell fight.
Following a 30-yard punt, the Cardinals have the ball now in San Francisco territory, 1st and 10 at the 43. Steve Pisarkiewicz is the quarterback. He is 1 for 7, a total of 4 yards in the air for the St. Louis Cardinals.
You saw that jet heater on the sidelines. It's in the 30, about 33, 34 degrees now. Warmed up.
Harrell stops to throw. The southpaw puts it up. Tilley can't get it. Hicks didn't see it.
Willard Harrell, when he was with the Green Bay Packers, used to throw that play quite a bit. Tilley a little bit disgusted, a little bit underthrown on the play. He was wide open. Tilley's at the top of your screen. Little pitch, sweep left. Theodis Brown out in front blocking. Left-hander. Throws it, and you could see he was wide open. He had Dwight Hicks beat.
So it'll be 2nd and 10. Cardinals at the San Francisco 43-yard line. Theodis Brown and Otis Anderson are the setbacks for the Cards. Tilley's in the slot right. That's Anderson. Oh, but there is Dwayne Board.
Nobody touched him. Poor blocking up front. Anderson a little bit disgusted. You know somebody had to block that man.
Little booing from the stands. 5 to the 43-yard line before Al Cowlings brought him down.
That's a little bit of a delayed screen on the right side. Picked up a good block from his center, Tom Banks. Not enough for the first down.
And again, the punter's on the field. That's Steve Little.
Punting contest today.
That's what it's been. Dungy and Hicks have dropped back for the 49ers.
And that hasn't been a good one.
Steve Little. Hicks. He's at the 10. He's at the 15, and he's at the 17-yard line. So the 49ers start in their own territory. Monday night on CBS, the White Shadow gets a new star player and a great big problem. And then on MASH, Klinger wishes he had 6 hands. And WKRP in Cincinnati, it's ratings time. There's good news and bad news. And then Ed Asner stars on Lou Grant. That's all on CBS on Monday night. 1st and 10 for the 49ers. Hofer and Jackson are the setbacks. Or Joe Montana. Jackson. Fumble the ball out there at the 20-yard line. '49ers retain possession.
It was Randy Cross, I think, who got it back to right guard.
Gained 3 yards on the play, so it'll be 2nd down and 7.
Think anybody will score in this football game?
I'm beginning to wonder. Ocean across. Montana. And he completes this one. Incomplete now to Freddie Solomon. Incomplete. Solomon had it for the briefest of times. Roger Worley made the hit on that corner.
Well, he's been All-Pro a long time, 11-year veteran out at the University of Missouri. Really almost tore his head off. And he's limping. There you see Freddie Solomon, who's really the only touchdown threat that they have going deep.
Solomon came in the game with 56 receptions, 7 touchdowns.
Now watch Worley on the outside. He follows him to the inside. Little hook pattern. Look at that left arm go right across his chin. The old clothesline. They could have got a penalty there too, Lindsay. That's
Montana. Did he stay in? Apparently he did. It is being marked complete to Dwight Clark.
Dwight Clark, he's got good size, 6'3 and a half. They ruled he was in bounds on the little bootleg to the right side. That's good control over his feet if he stayed in bounds there, Lindsay.
I'll say, and it's a 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line. There is no score. We have 6 minutes, 11 seconds left to play in the first half. This is Hofer. Got it up there across the 45. Make that Bobby Farrell instead of Hofer on the carry. It was Farrell who carried, 38. And the ball is at the 46-yard line. Second down, 2 yards to go for the 49ers. Hofer and Farrell, the setbacks. Hofer gets the 1st and 10 at midfield.
49ers starting to move the football a little bit. Hofer. Farrell's got 24 yards on 4 carries, but Hofer is a very determined young man, Lindsey, when he gets turned upfield. We've seen him 4 or 5 times this year. When he came up, he worked his tail off on special teams. That's how he made it in the National Football League. And he really still, he's almost in heaven now starting for the 49ers, especially when you got a guy like O.J. Simpson on the team. He couldn't believe it either.
Farrell picked up 3 to the 46-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 7 now for the 49ers. O.J. Simpson has not been in the ball game so far today here on a cold day in St. Louis. They're sending Mike Schumann to a wide right, bringing Dwight Clark to a wide left. Montana, the quarterback. And it is complete.
Hofer.
Hofer came out of the backfield, and he's doubled up. Ball is at the 37-yard line, and this again is an injury delay, as Hofer is the man who is down.
Yeah, they love to throw to the backs. It's a 1st down for the 49ers. Hofer being attended to now.
O.J. Simpson along the sideline.
There's the juice.
Next Saturday, starting at 12 noon Eastern Time, the NFL on CBS has the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. All the action begins with the NFL Today with Brent Musburger, Jane Kennedy, Irv Cross, Jimmy the Greek Snyder, and Jack Whitaker. O.J. Simpson in the ballgame now. 1st and 10 for the 49ers at the Cardinals 37. There is no score. 3:59 left in the first half. O.J. Simpson. Charlie Davis closed him off at the pass.
Well, we've seen Simpson 3 or 4 times this year. Bill Walsh likes to use him. They usually use a split backfield, and they usually run him on the sweeps. There it is, 413 yards on the year. Hasn't really played too much, especially in the last 7 weeks.
O.J. goes out of the ball game, and Linville Elliott comes in. O.J. carried 1 time for no gain. It's 2nd and 10 at the 37. Loosen up the wide receivers left and right.
Good defense.
Absolutely. Farrell pulled down just about the line of scrimmage. Might have got 1. Bearfield made the tackle. As you see Bill Walsh along the sideline. Gain of about a half yard. Call it 3rd and 9. Outside the 36-yard line. We are approaching the 2-minute warning. We have now 2 minutes 35 seconds left to play in the first half. 3rd down play coming now. Farrell and Elliott are the setbacks. Montana keeps it. Cuts back to the inside and gets inside the 25-yard line. Enough for a 1st and 10 for the 49ers.
Montana. Well, he's got the good quick feet. That's what he's noted for, and he's a good scrambler. Picked up 15 yards.
Set to 23, and we have reached the 2-minute warning. Whistle has sounded now. We have 2 minutes remaining to be played in the first half here at Bush Memorial Stadium in St. Louis, and the score is San Francisco 0 and the Cardinals 0.
The world's most advanced twin-blade razors are only as careful, gotcha, as you are. The Norelco rechargeable rotary razor has 36 surgical steel blades, carefully protected by 3 floating heads, and a unique shaving angle for a very close shave wherever you are, without a nick or a cut. The choice is yours. The close, careful Norelco rechargeable rotary razor, or 2 blades and gotcha.
We challenged hotshot Garland Dwyer with the Mattel Electronics baseball game.
You are off.
Inside, a tiny thinking computer plays like a team of pros. The computer fires a fastball.
Strike one.
Now a curve. It's a triple. Garland's trying to stretch it home.
You're out.
Pocket Baseball, one of 7 sports games from Mattel Electronics.
Hey, who's in there?
Play both these score touchdowns. It's absolutely nothing.
With 2 minutes remaining to be played, Bill Walsh talks to Joe Montana, Steve DeBerg looking on, and it is 1st and 10 for the 49ers at the 23-yard line of the Cardinals in a game that has been scoreless to this point. And in his first day as a coach, Larry Wilson along the sidelines now was director of pro personnel for the St. Louis Cardinals, but replaced the deposed Bud Wilkinson. O.J. Simpson back in the ball game. Farrell is the other setback. 1st and 10 at the 23. O.J. inside the 20-yard line to the 18. He got 5 yards on the carry. Juice picked them up as Ken Green made the tackle.
There's the coach, Larry Wilson. And he really popularized the safety blitz. Nobody did it better than Larry Wilson. Because I know a lot of times, Lindsay, I played against that guy, and you'd have to always key Larry Wilson. If he was blitzing, it usually meant we had to pick him up, and he was tough.
2nd and 5. O.J. He got across the 15-yard line out at the 14. Carl Allen had him out, picked up 4 yards on the play.
He almost looks like he limps a little bit on that left side. A couple of years ago, Lindsay, he would have been way on the outside.
He definitely was limping, and he is headed for the sideline now. Hofer's coming back in. Hofer had bruised ribs, but he is coming back into the ball game.
Nobody ever handled himself, I think, as well in professional football as O.J. Simpson, both on and off the field.
3rd down and a yard to go. The ball is at the 14-yard line, and we have 1 minute, 18 seconds left in the half. There is no score. Hofer, 1st and 10. Patented Hofer advance to the 11-yard line. Roger Worley made the tackle.
And of course, they're going to key Hofer. Looking at the films of the 49ers the last couple of weeks, I'm sure that Larry Wilson had that defense. They're keying on him, but he just dives over on most short yardage situations, especially inside the 5. Hofer's the key back.
Montana picked up the call from the sideline. Montana bobbled the snap, picked up the ball, got to the 10-yard line. Gained about a yard on the play. Davis and Dawson there. Timeout, 49ers. So with 34 seconds left to play in the half, the 49ers have called a timeout, and Joe Montana goes over to have a word with Bill Walsh and his staff. Game's coming up next week on the NFL on CBS.
It's the Rams against Atlanta, New York Giants going against these St. Louis Cardinals, the Bears against Green Bay, and Tampa Bay goes out to San Francisco.
Consult your local listings for the game and time in your area. All the action begins with the NFL today with Brent Musburger, Jane Kennedy, Irv Cross, Jimmy the Greek Snyder, and Jack Whitaker. Paul, you and I will be in San Francisco again next weekend. When are you coming out, about Wednesday?
I'll be there about Wednesday or Thursday, Lindsay, you know that. Crabs in season, right?
Absolutely. Is it ever? Larry Wilson. Play is resumed. The ball is at the 10-yard line. It is 2nd down and 9 yards to go for the 49ers, who want to get something on that scoreboard before they head for the dressing room for the halftime intermission.
Well, this will be a short field goal attempt, and Ray Wersching, 49er field goal, has been very accurate all year long. He's 16 out of 20 in the field goal department. See if they go upstairs here.
Send Dwight Clark out to a wide right. Double wing alignment. Hofer in motion across. Montana throws, and it is complete inside the 5-yard line. Hofer was the receiver, and Bearfield made the tackle along with Worley.
Yeah, that's almost like a run, Lindsey. It's just a rollout. They flood the right side. Just almost like a basketball pass. Low percentage pass to have intercepted. That's Tom Bettis, one of the defensive coordinators. The Cardinals there with the headset on.
3rd and 4 at the 5-yard line. Farrell and Hofer, the setbacks.
Same play.
This time Montana still has the ball. Changes direction. Goes into the end zone, and it's incomplete. Incomplete. As it was Paul Seal.
Montana with a good move, getting open. Paul Seal was all alone in the left side for 6. Had a double tight end situation here. Paul Seal was loose for 6, couldn't hold on.
4th down play coming up now.
Let's see if we can take another look at it. Rollout right, they had the same play called. Hofer was in the right flat. This time he's covered. Montana reverses his field. Watch, just a little pass right there. Seal could have had it and should have caught the football.
Wershing is in to attempt a 22-yarder now. Ray Wershing, who is 16 for 20 in the field goal department. Wershing's kick is good, and the 49ers are on the scoreboard with 16 seconds left to play in the half to score. The 49ers 3 and the St. Louis Cardinals nothing. So now, kickoff and 16 seconds to play before the halftime intermission here. As Paul Hornung has mentioned several times, the talk of the town has been, of course, the thing that happened on Wednesday morning here in St. Louis when Bud Wilkinson was dismissed as coach by President Bill Bidwell and was replaced for the remainder of the season by a man you've seen along the sidelines here this afternoon, Larry Wilson, with the understanding before Wilson took the job that Pisarkowicz would be the quarterback.
I got a question right now. Now the Cardinals trailing 3-0. What do you do, Lindsey? You bring in Hart in the second half? I don't know. In a normal circumstance, I guess you would.
If you
but
do,
I don't
you
think
call,
today.
If you do, you call Mr. Bidwell first. Wershing tees it up on the 35-yard line.
Wershing kicking off.
Green and Harrell have dropped back. Bounces it downfield. It's fielded at the 28 and covered right there by Chris Gurley, a linebacker from Missouri. And the Cardinals attempt to advance it now, but it's already been blown dead back there at the 29-yard line.
Pretty good sustained drive. 17 plays, 78 yards. They end up with 3.
Possession, 7 minutes. Seemed like an hour and a half. 15 seconds remaining to be played in the first half. Cardinals with the ball at their own 29.
Won't have any trouble going to sleep on the airplane back home to Louisville tonight. This keeps up.
Still Pisarkowicz. Theodis Brown, the UCLAer, and he gets across the 40-yard line. It's a first down for the Cards. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and that's the end of the half.
People don't like it here in St. Louis.
They don't at all. So teams go to the halftime, to the locker rooms for the halftime intermission with the San Francisco 49ers holding a 3-0 margin on a 22-yard field goal by Wershing, the only scoring play of the ball game between these two teams. So that's the end of the first half here at Bush Memorial Stadium in St. Louis, and the score is San Francisco 3 and the Cards nothing.